Hi everyone, and welcome to the 10th and final part of the Castle Forest colour along from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. Thank you so much to everyone that's been colouring along with me so far through all of these parts, and I really hope that you've enjoyed it. Let's get on with the very last piece of the puzzle, which is doing all of our glow around the top and the bottom areas. So I'm going to zoom in first of all, and we'll start with the top, I think. Okay, there we go. Make sure I'm all in view, you know what I'm like. Okay, so first of all we're going to go in with our Prussian blue. As you can see, my polychromos are dwindling now, they're getting smaller and smaller, but that's okay. Right, so I'm going to go around the edge here of this fleur-de-lis piece with the Prussian blue. And we're just going to carry on doing exactly the same technique we've been doing for all this time now. I have noticed from tags on social media that some of you have already completed it and they all look absolutely fantastic. Everybody's work looks brilliant, and I'm just so happy that it's all turned out the way that it should have done and that we wanted it to. I was quite worried that it might be a bit not great, because I'm not really adept at these kind of backgrounds and this glow effect, so I was a bit worried of how it was going to turn out, but luckily it's been pretty good, I think. The hardest bit seems to be getting the glow from this edge to nothing. So getting the glows inside the actual illustration is okay, but it's the edges that seem to be causing the most bother, and it's just quite difficult to get something gradiated out complete white from such a dark colour, but we're going to give it a go anyway. We've done the sides, so we know it can be done. So I hope that you've all had a good week. Mine's been a bit weird, to be honest. So as I've explained in the previous videos, all of my health problems, and I hope you don't think I'm being a bit too personal. I'm always oversharing. I'm a massive oversharer. I should probably reel it in a little bit, but yeah, I've got loads of health problems, as you all know, and I have mentioned in the previous videos that I was on the mini pill and it was causing weight gain, and I was worried about coming off it because I went on it in the first place due to really bad pain. So I decided this time last Monday, to just come off it and see what happened. I went to the doctor. She wasn't very helpful. She just kept saying, oh, I'm sure you'll be back on it once you realise how bad the pain was again, once you remember, and all this stuff. And she wasn't admitting that it causes you any weight gain. She just said I was eating more. Went for those blood tests I told you about, and they've of course all come back negative, as I thought that they would. I really hoped that they would come back with something, you know, even if it was some sort of disease, just to say this is what it is, this is the reason you're feeling like this, you know, and then at least you can look it up or treat it or know what to do, you know what I mean? But when it's negative, there's not a lot you can blooming do. So I came off the pill last Monday, and I weighed myself yesterday, and I haven't changed my eating habits at all. I've made no sort of effort to eat better, exercise more, anything. Been exactly the same, and I've lost 4 pounds. Now that's the first time in months and months and months, probably 18 months since I've been on the pill, that I've actually seen a loss on the scales, not a gain. I've done nothing but gain, gain, gain. And it just seems to me like too big a coincidence that as soon as I come off that pill, I'm losing weight. So that's a good thing. Bad thing is, obviously, I'm going to start getting all the pain again, but I'm just going to have to cross that bridge when I come to it, I suppose, and just control it with the painkillers. But one thing I have noticed, because I do suffer with IBS quite badly, one thing I've noticed since coming off the pill is the IBS seems to be coming back with a vengeance. Now, I do remember that my doctor did tell me when I first started this pill that it can help with IBS. For some odd reason, a contraceptive helping with IBS, I don't know. But she did say that, and that's sort of come back to me now, because I have started getting those kind of bad symptoms again. So I am between a rock and a hard place. I don't want to go back on this pill because I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose weight on it. I already have in this short amount of time, but at the same time I am worried about the sort of pain and the IBS and the symptoms that I'm going to be going through again. But that's Claire's little medical update for this week. As I say, I'm a massive oversharer, probably too much information. I just like to chat, you know, about things, about how my life's going, and it's just one of the things that I'm going through at the minute. So, as I say, I hope you've all had a really good week. And, yeah. I went to see the film Hereditary. Do you remember I was telling you that I was absolutely desperate to see it because it looked amazing, and I've been just desperate since like January to see it. So I went to see it. Absolute crap. I'm not even kidding, right? I was so looking forward to this, like more than any other film. I was looking forward to this film. The trailer looked incredible. Everyone was saying it's the scariest film in years and years and years. It's this generation's Exorcist. It's gonna play on your mind for years, you know, like all this kind of hype. It was absolute crap, guys. I mean, I'm all for people going to see what they want to see and not sort of imparting my opinion on them, saying don't see this, you know, but please don't see it. Don't waste your money on it, guys. If you wanted to go and see it, just wait for it to come onto TV and then you won't be disappointed. Honestly, absolute rubbish. I mean, it's so slow, and I'm one of these people that really likes a slow burn in horror films. I like it to build and build, and it's really slow, and then all of a sudden you'll have this massive half an hour, 20 minutes at the end that just absolutely knocks your socks off. This was just boring all the way through. Really, really long shots for no reason. You know, the camera just staying in one place, staying on person's face. And the last half an hour, it was laughable. People were laughing. When the credits rolled, people were just looking at each other, just gone out, like, what have we just watched? What was that? Just crazy, just crazy. So I'm really, really disappointed about that. It's really annoyed me. But what can you do? Just don't believe the hype, I guess, in future. So no spoilers, obviously, but it was just not good. So I'm just going in here with the white, attempting to create a bit of a glow. I think the trick is when you're using your light ultramarine, really, really lighten up at the edges, because if there are any harsh bits of light ultramarine, they are going to stay there, and it's very difficult to sort of scrub them away with this white. So just try and make it as light as possible. It'll be easier to blend. So I'm going to go in with the black at the inner edges just to darken it up a bit. Oh, black just popped then, did you hear it? So in the last video I was talking about possibly getting into doing some live streams on the channel, and the feedback was really positive. Everyone really wanted me to go ahead and do live streams. So I tried one the other day. You may have been there, you might not have seen it, but I was doing, what was I doing? Inktense? No, I wasn't. Was it Inktense? No, it was paints. It was the Gansai Tambi Kuretake paints. So we were testing those out in a Hannah Lynn book. That's what we were doing. And it's so hard to keep up with comments and keep colouring at the same time and remember what you're doing and to stay on track. It's really difficult. I wasn't expecting that, actually. And then my hay fever was ridiculous that day, so I picked a really bad day to do it. So I was constantly sniffing, and I know that must have been really annoying to listen to. I also fell off my chair, which was quite hilarious. Obviously you didn't see it on camera, but you heard it. So I was wheeling the chair across to get something or other from the drawer, and my chair just went out from under me. So it was quite funny. It was a pretty chaotic live stream, to be honest, and I'm trying to keep up with all the comments, and because my camera is actually above my head, my phone is above my head, I had to keep craning my neck like a giraffe to look at the comments, and it was all a bit awkward. So I'm going to have to figure out a better way of doing it where I can see the comments sort of in front of me, and yeah, so I'm just going back outwards now with the colours, just adding a little bit more of this light ultramarine so that I can buff it out with the white. So I don't care how long this video is going to be, we are going to finish this in this video, because I know that you guys have all waited really patiently for each part, and as you know I've got a lot going on in real life, so it's quite difficult to keep up with things like this. I mean, I've done quite a few videos this week. I don't know whether you've seen the flower and leaf colour combinations videos that I've done. I've done a few more videos as well, and that's sort of what I can record when I know I've got a bit of time, and I can record those. With these colour along parts, I know they're going to take ages, and the upload times are really long as well, so it's sort of, these are sort of put on the back burner. Okay, so I've done a bit of a glow there. Now we are going to go in with the black underneath this area here, because I don't want to do too much to this. We're not going to overcomplicate things. So I'm going to put the black in here, and I'm just going to fill it in with the Prussian blue. And then a bit of the light ultramarine, just to mix it in with the bit that we've already done down here. Try and get it to blend. Okay, now I'm also going to do this inner bit black, because I want this to be like it's a cutout rather than this is an actual bit on top of it that needs colouring in. This is going to be a cutout. So again with the black and the Prussian blue, maybe just a bit of the ultramarine. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's okay. Right, so we're going to do exactly the same thing inside these areas. So mostly black with a bit of Prussian blue. Here comes the Prussian blue, so we'll keep it quite dark because we are going to do like a black outline in here, so we'll keep it dark. Just put a little bit of ultramarine in there. It's quite a large space. Okay, now we're going to go around our flowers . With our Prussian blue. This is all just a little bit fiddly with it being around. So I'm just thinking about when we come, we might just fill this in actually between the flowers. It's going to be a bit fiddly otherwise. So we're going to have black around here, so we can just afford to fill all this in. And that'll still look fine. So we'll come up with our black above these fleur-de-lis points. I don't know if they are fleur-de-lis or filigree or whatever else you'd call it, but that's what we're going to call it for now. So we've got a good layer of black in there, and then we can just fill the rest in with our Prussian blue. Don't forget, I'm doing this on the fly, playing it by ear, so if this isn't what you want it to look like, if you want it to have lighter bits in it, go ahead, you know, you do what you think is best. It is a bit dark, but don't forget, once we put all of our white dots on it, it's just going to all match in anyway. So yes, so we need to do around these flowers. And then with our light ultramarine, and just making sure, as I say, that you really do not put a lot of that ultramarine on the edge, because the white is very difficult to blend it out if there's a lot of harsh colour on there. So I'm doing the very, very lightest whisper of colour around the edges. So it should be hopefully easier to blend out. Oh, white's just broken. That's how hard I was doing it. Okay, let's try and be a little bit lighter. Got a bit carried away with my pressure there. I really just want to make it as smooth as possible, so I am trying to burnish it quite heavily. Do you know what? That's the first time one of my polychromos is broken in a long time. You always get it with Prismas. But you know what? This sharpener I'm using, this is it, it's called the Sunrise Pro, is incredible. When I first got it, I wasn't impressed because I thought it chewed up the pencils too quickly. But you know, now since I've been working with it and using it often, I've sort of got the hang of it. And I tell you what, my Prismacolors are not breaking nearly as much as they used to using the electric sharpener. So I would definitely recommend, if you've got Prismacolors, to try electric sharpeners, because they seem to just sharpen them very, very differently to handheld. That just keeps them strong. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they do. So I'm bringing in some black just around the tops of these flowers here to deepen out the colour. So far, from all of your requests, I've done the background. I've done a Derwent Inktense and a Neo Colour Galaxy background. I've done a skin tone video with Prismas, and I've done the flowers and leaf combination videos. So please do let me know in the comments what else you want to see, and I'll try my best to do it. Do a tutorial for it or whatever. I've had loads of people asking me for fur, and I'm so sorry, but I just cannot colour fur. It's so hard. I tried to do it in the latest Colouring Heaven, the Native American Mythology special. If you'll have seen my review of that, you'll have seen my attempt at fur, and it wasn't good. So what I did first of all was I tried to do it with coloured pencil, so I was using lots of different browns in flicking motions here and there and everywhere, and it just looked so scrappy. It looked like a child had done it. And then I added some black ballpoint pen, which was a bit weird, but it just seemed to deepen it a bit, and it looked a lot better, but it certainly isn't anywhere near what the standard I would want to do a tutorial for you guys. It's just not good. It was very, very play it by ear. Probably if I did it again, it might not even turn out the same. So fur is not something I am confident with at all. I'm getting more confident with skin, as you've seen probably by the tutorial and stuff like that, but no, not fur. If any of you have any helpful comments or advice on how to do fur, I would really appreciate it, because it would be nice to be able to colour animals. There are a lot of animals in colouring books. But it's a very difficult thing to get right. So making sure the light ultramarine is very light on the edge, and then hopefully not breaking our white pencil again. I think I've got a spare Polychromos white actually, so at least I've got something in reserve for if this one just goes down to nothing, because it's going so small now. I've had my Polychromos for ages now, well over a year, if not longer. And I haven't had to replace any as of yet. They do seem to last and last, but then again I don't use them as often as my Prismas. I just find my Prismas a lot easier to work with, and they're a bit less hard work, you know. Sometimes you just want to be able to create what you've got in your head easily, and Polychromos do need a lot of time and attention and layers and, you know, to get things right, whereas Prismas don't. So this colour along has been a massive challenge for me, just using polys and trying to get them looking as vibrant and as decent as my Prisma work. Now I don't think there's enough of a glow around here. If we compare it to down here, we seem to have a much further glow than we are up here. This is very short glow. So I am just going to try and extend it a little bit. You don't have to. It's just me, never happy. So I'm doing literally the lightest pressure with the ultramarine now, just to try and extend the glow a little bit. Difficult background, isn't it, this one we've chosen? It's not coming easy. But we've had a go, haven't we? We've given it a good go. Maybe when we put our white dots on there it won't look as bad. Shall we just do that now, just to see? Okay. I feel like I have to do this now just so I can see if everything looks better and I don't need to do anything else for you guys, like, you know, extend it more or whatever, because I don't want to leave it if it's not right, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head anyway. So Any bits that are annoying you, or you've sort of colours there and it won't go away, just cover it in dots or just hide it. Right, so I think now that we've added those dots in, if we just zoom out a minute and look at the whole thing, it doesn't actually look too bad, like it all seems to go together, but we need to go all the way around first, don't we, just to check it. I just don't like how sort of small this area of colour is compared to, say, this area. Let's just do it and see what it's like at the end and see if we can rectify it anyhow. I'm just really conscious of getting this wrong for you guys. This is part of the reason why I don't do a lot of colour alongs, because I always think it's going to turn out rubbish. I've got no confidence in myself whatsoever. And that isn't a call for sympathy, it's the truth. Okay, so let's get our black out again and make sure that we've done our boundaries of where we're going to have the black and the blue. So exactly the same as the other side now. So we've filled all of that in. I'm going to go around our flowers again, nice thick area of the Prussian blue. So I hope you did like those flower and leaf combo videos that I did. I seem to have got good response so far. I've taken all the combinations from my original Prismacolor combinations chart and just found good ones for flowers and leaves basically. So as I say, I hope that you're going to find them useful. Probably when Johanna Basford's new book, World of Flowers, comes out, you might find them useful then as well. So already you can see that I've done a much thicker layer around this flower than I have over here. So I am going to have to go over those white, get rid of them and thicken it up a bit, I think. So what I'll do is I'll take the Prussian blue. That's the good thing about the white gel pens, you can just scrub them out and put them back. And just make this a lot thicker. Here's me thinking it was going to be quite a quick final video. But I really underestimated this very edge of glow. It's so difficult. It is to me anyway, you guys might find it pretty easy. But we have to have these experiments, don't we? That's a bit better, I suppose. See how it looks when we put our dots on. I think when it's all done and we're zoomed out and you're looking at the entire page as a whole, little things like this aren't going to matter because your eye isn't going to pick up on it, but when you're doing it, it's all these little bits and bobs that are really annoying. Okay, let's go and fill these in as well while we're here. Oops, went a bit far with that. Let's just pop some white gel pen over it. That'll do for now. Then the Prussian. Okay, let's do this one as well. Right then, so we're going to go around here with the black. I'm going to do the black first this time. Just mark out the border. So we did black all the way down the edge and then filled it in with the Prussian blue on the other side. We'll do exactly the same. And we did black over the top of here as well. Going in with the light ultramarine now. So I'm basically just trying to create as smooth a blend as possible. Going back in, layering up, burnishing, back in, layering up, burnishing. Right, so we're going to come back down here with our black. And just finish it at the tip there. come around with the Prussian blue. I'm just going to use this light ultramarine to blend around here. So we're blending back into the work that we did previously on top of the wing. Right, okay, I want to put white dots in now, just to see how it looks. I can't wait till the very end. As you can see, I use my skin in place of a scrap piece of paper or a cloth. Oftentimes when I'm doing painting, or using my paints anyway, I'll just wipe the brush on my arm, so I've got all these streaks on my arm. Probably not good for you, depending on what chemicals and things in, so I wouldn't recommend it, but right, okay, so we've added in our white dots now, and looking at this as a whole, it's okay, it's okay. I think I'm just overreacting, over worrying, whatever you want to call it. It looks okay, I think. Now we're going to move to the bottom, and we're already on 38 minutes, so this is going to be a doozy of a video. Okay, right. We are going to start down here with our black. I wonder how long this one's going to take to upload. Maybe 6-8 hours? Possibly. And we're just going to go around these bits here as well. So we'll just fill all this in black here. And bring some Prussian blue here just to blend it out a bit. Nice thick layer all the way around so that we don't end up with a small little glow again. Can you imagine if we hadn't have done this background, we'd been finished hours ago? That's what I'm thinking right now. It's got to that stage. I just want it to be done. Don't force me to do these backgrounds again, guys. It's all your fault. Okay, light ultramarine. And then we'll just go back around and do that very, very light bit for the white to blend into. Okay, let's go in with the white, see what happens. It's always worrying, these edges. Quite a lot of black around here, isn't there? A bit thick. Might lighten it up a little bit just by doing a bit of a layer of white. Okay, that's going to look fine once we put our dots on it. So okay, so I'm going to do the black in here and then the Prussian blue. Maybe a little touch of the ultramarine just to lighten it up a bit. And then we're going to go around this edge. So I do think there's a lot of inconsistency in my picture with the thickness of the lines. So in some areas my black is very, very narrow, and in some it's very thick. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have chosen to do that if I'd not just ended up doing it. You know, I wouldn't have planned it that way. There are a few pages that I've seen you guys do where you have kept the lines completely consistent in width all the way across this, and I applaud you. It's not something I'd find easy to do, clearly. But it does look much better if you can do that. I think I've just used a bit too much black in some places and not enough in others. Oh well. It's nothing to worry about, is it? It's just a colouring page at the end of the day. I'm just a bit of a, not a perfectionist, but if I don't do something right, I like to tell myself off quite a lot. Or something how I want it to be done, not right, but you know what I mean. Okay, light ultramarine. I don't know why I keep singing light ultramarine, but it's just coming out as a song. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed my top 10 desert island colouring books video, sorry. It seemed to get a lot of good comments, so I think you all have enjoyed it. I'd love to know what your 10 desert island colouring books would be. If you want to put it in the comments, or go and put it in the comments on that video. There are quite a few across this set of videos that have been very, very similar. For example, I chose Mythomorphia and Serene and Inky Butterfly, and a lot of other people did as well. So they're obviously very, very popular books. But I also have seen some videos that are really, really different, a lot of books that I've never heard of. So I'm always interested to know what you guys like to colour, and I'm just interested. Interested in anything really. So yeah, let me know what your top 10 books would be to take to a desert island. We're just assuming really with this that you've got all your colouring pencils and pens that you could ever need. Okay, now we'll continue with our black outline all the way around. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit narrower, she says, and then it goes really thick. Oops, that went really thick there. I think I probably need to sharpen it. But I sort of don't want to go too thin now because I've already committed and made it really thick on the other side. Okay, so let's follow it around with our Prussian. So Max had his sports day the other day. Max is my youngest. He's 9 and he had his sports day. We went to see him. He was doing all sorts. He's the only one in his entire class, or probably school, that does skipping backwards. It's because they had this like obstacle thing where you had to jump into a hoop and lift it over your head, and then jump onto something else, and then skip 3 times and then run back. And he was the only one that did backward skipping. But he reckons that's more comfortable for him, so go ahead, that's what I say. But yeah, he did really well. They don't do any prizes or winners or anything like that. Every single child gets a medal at the end, and they sort of rotate through lots of different things. So they did javelin with like a foam javelin. Max was really good at that, actually. Got really, really far with the javelin. Even though it was a windy day and it was made out of foam, he was one of the best throwers, definitely. Got really far. They did long jump. He was good at that as well. He's pretty good at his sports, is Max. He's not really into it, but he's pretty good at it. What else did they do? They did running, so they were supposed to run, this was the last one for Max, they were supposed to run 4 laps of the field, and that would turn out to be a mile. Max did 1, he couldn't run the whole way. He said his leg was hurting, and then he walked the second one, but he couldn't do another 2. His leg was hurting. This was right at the end, and I think he just maxed himself out. Bless him. So, and then they all had a drink and an ice lolly at the end. I do like to try and go to everything that happens at the kids' schools. My parents didn't come to pretty much any of my kind of school things, and I just always knew that I wanted to go to my, I mean, I don't blame my parents or anything like that, you know, they're probably really busy and whatever, but I really wanted to be able to always say, my kids to always be able to say that I was there and that their dad was there at all these different events. So I do go to like every single one of anything really, meetings, sports days, plays, assemblies. So I'm really lucky to be able to do that, because I know that a lot of parents work and they can't get the time off, and it is difficult. I don't know why I've gone really pointy on this side and I haven't on that side. Something's wrong with me. There's so many discrepancies in this picture. Oh well. One thing I've noticed since this week is that I'm not as tired all the time as I have been feeling. Still knackered, but not as, you know, incredibly lethargic and stuff that I've been. Because at one point it was like any movement was just so like hard to do, you know. It felt like somebody that suffers with ME or something, you know. It felt really, really knackering, but I'm not feeling as bad, luckily. Maybe it's the bit of weight loss. Could be. So I just think that's really weird how I've sort of pointed out these leaves and I haven't done that over there. Let's see if I can change it up a little bit. Okay, let's add a little bit more Prussian and bring the points out a little bit. And then bring the white up here a bit so it sort of creates the same look, kind of. Maybe, maybe not. Do you know what, at this point I don't even care anymore whether it looks right or wrong. Being totally honest with you, I'm ready for this to be done. So that looks pretty awful, but when we put our white dots on, they are going to save everything, of course. Right, let's have a look at this side now. So what we did over on the other side is we did some black here, and we brought that around here. Oh yes, that was the really thick black bit, wasn't it? Okay, so let's try and see if we can thin that out just a little bit, maybe. Okay, that's not as thick as the other side. So we'll add on the Prussian and see what it looks like. See, with it being symmetrical, you're constantly having to look at the other side and try and match it up, which is kind of annoying. But we're getting there, guys. We're seeing the finish line here, which is good. I think I was the same at the end of the last colour along, where it was all those blimmin' leaves. It's doing my head in. Okay, so we went around this area. I think we just dissolved this into white down there. Right, let's bring in the light ultramarine. You won't be able to look at this pencil anymore without singing light ultramarine. I think I'm a bit crazy this morning. Right, I'm going to attempt not to make this as spiky because this side isn't, so let's try and just do it all the way around without spiking it out. Pretty nice though, isn't it? Looking at the whole thing, it's a pretty nice background. Just takes a blimmin' long time to do. Sorry about the length of this last video, guys. I know we're up to an hour now, but we are going to get this done in one video and that's it. Okay. Sorry I'm not chatting as much, guys. I really can't think of anything else to say. This is why I'd be good on live streams, because you can actually talk to me and I can reply. But I do often run out of things to say. And I'm always worried it'll be boring. Right, so it's not exactly like the other side, but that's okay. Right, now we went around this leaf with the black and the top leaf as well, and just brought it up into the curve of this bit. I'm just going to fill these in before I forget, these little crescents. Okay, and we can come back in with this Prussian now. Right then, white dots time. And the only thing we're going to have left to do after that is fill in the little stars that we coloured over. And we can do that with either gold paint or a gold gel pen or anything you've got to hand. So I'm going to put quite a few dots around all this black because I don't like how dark it is, and that might just lighten it up a little bit. Oh, gone a bit mad there with the lines. I'm rushing now, I need to stop rushing. Let's just take this slow. I really hope you've enjoyed colouring this with me, guys. I know it's been a bit of a labour of love, excuse me, and I've moaned all the way through, and I've kept you abreast of all my medical details. But I do hope you've enjoyed it, and you've enjoyed spending time with me. I've enjoyed spending time with you guys, and even though you're not there for me to chat to, I've enjoyed reading every single one of your comments. I always try and either leave a love heart, a like, or a little reply if you do ask me a question. So I really appreciate that support, thank you. And also all the thumbs up, the video thumbs up that have been left, because they actually really help. And what they do is if you click thumbs up, that actually makes my video more likely to be seen by more people. So it spreads it around a bit. So that's really helpful. And all of the new subscribes, hit 10,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Just so thankful and grateful for everybody that follows this channel. Doing this is a distraction for me. It's a way to help me forget what's going on in my head. You know, with my emetophobia, my depression, anxiety, everything like that. It really helps me. So even though you're all really grateful for the tutorials that I do, and you let me know, I'm really grateful that you guys enjoy them, because it keeps me up. It keeps me up. I think now that we have put these white dots on, it really has made all the difference, and I'm actually pretty happy with it, despite how much I moaned. Okay, we're done, all bar shouting. Let's get that gold gel pen out and finish off. So, I've got my gold Jelly Roll Stardust pen. Just being careful not to go over any of our white dots that we've just done and ruin them all. Just going to add some gold into all of these stars and little bits and bobs that we've left. Got a big circle there to fill in. Where are we? Let's make sure we're all on screen, eh? There we go. And then we've got these stars up here. And we've got these stars here as well. Any more for any more? Let's keep looking. There's one big one here. I think we are done. Yay! So we've finally completed our Castle Forest, Inky Ivy and Inky Butterfly, Johanna Basford colour along. As I say, really hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for going through this huge project with me. It feels like it lasted a lifetime, but I honestly think we've got a really beautiful picture there at the end. So again, thank you, and I will see you next time on Colour with Claire.